Okay, let's talk about situational awareness. So what is that? That's a military term, right? So that's all about assessing where you're at, what your environment is, and building context. So I find that a lot of executives, they'll have a knee-jerk reaction of what the next best step is for them when they have a lease that's due. And oftentimes, if we just stop and think and build some context of the market, and more nuance that can help create new revised action plan. And so those are some of the initial steps that we'll go over here. So the first step is to start with the entire lease document. And so if you've been in business for a while and you have a good sized team, chances are the person who's responsible today, who is you, who's watching this now, you may not have been the person that signed the lease that you have on the building that you're in at this moment. And so it's important when there's a change in personnel or a change in personnel with the landlord, where the landlord doesn't have the same person now in charge as who was in charge when you initially signed your lease. It's important to then make sure that you have the entire agreement that's current as it stands all in one package. And so oftentimes what we'll be missing are addendums, exhibits, receipts, any like credits or debits for any tenant improvement allowances, and then any records for any free rent that it was taken or not taken. And so it's great to start and make sure you have all of the documentation and all of the contracts and all of the past records and history in one place. Make sure that they're all fully executed so that you know that they're final documents. And then think internally of what records you may have from accounts payable and from your accounting and finance department, just to make sure you can double check what rent you've paid throughout the year, in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and make sure that you have the right amounts that match with the contract. Because you may have underpaid, you may have overpaid, you may have gotten some of your security deposit back, you may still have all that on file with the landlord. So first things first, work internally and try and get all of the documentation. And if there's anything that you're missing, you can contact your broker. They may have records of some of these items, or you can have your broker contact the landlord, or you can contact the landlord and ask them what documents they have on their side. So depending on your relationship with the landlord and depending on your future thoughts on whether you're going to stay or whether you're going to relocate, that might give you an initial feeling on how comfortable you are reaching out to the landlord to ask them for documents you should have. So sometimes you'll want to do that, sometimes you can rely on your broker to do that, and that can all help you have what you need to get started.